just because there's a lot of work on and every moment counts. Oh, I fell off again. Uh, we were playing with our new character controller recently, and we discovered that in some cases it also suffered from this problem that if you had a spring underneath it, oh my god,
Just teleport.
it's
I think
literally
it's only
designed
when the
to
new Quest 3S.
fuck you. Okay, there we go. Right.
Someone knock him off, please.
You can do it.
Yeah, it turns out you've got to tweak. I think what is it? The weight, the mass, maybe in the end was what fixed it, Aline. Right? We
Mm.
thought that this was just a thing, right? You've got a spring joint, and then you put a character on it. It's always slippery, but no, we found out how to make it not slippery. So if anybody's interested in that, that was an interesting thing that we did. Uh, yeah. Okay. So look, let's jump in. Go ahead, Iron Wolf. What can I do you for?
Yeah, so I understand you have a lot to do within your SDK and menu and everything, but
Yeah.
I was thinking, just like an idea. Banter is like a website, right? Every world is a website,
Yes.
and we are not there yet, but we should probably come there later on, where we can generate a world within Banter through AI.
Oh. Well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, that's a question for you to answer
Yeah.
later on. And I understand it's not the time for it to do it, but I like you to have it in your bags of tricks later on
Yes.
when we are at that point with the AI where we can do those such things. So
Yes. Well, I'll tell you a little secret. I'm actually stalling on building out an in-game world builder. I'm putting it off onto the community to try and incentivize somebody to do it so I can stall long enough until the AI system is able to just create that world builder for you, right? So then it's just there is no world builder. It's just a search box or a prompt entry or whatever it is that you're doing. But yeah, I totally get it. It's something we definitely want to do. We've actually dabbled with it a little bit in the past. We had a system that you were able to prompt inside Unity, right? And it was able to take primitive shapes and assemble them together to kind of make something that looked like it, but it was very primitive, very redundant, not optimized really, and very basic. But I know we've been keeping a close eye on some of the tools that are out there. I can't think of the name of them offhand. Maybe I can megaphone Aline and she can jump in with the name. But I know there's some really cool ones that are starting to get. The problem I think is just the time it takes. I'd love to have something that's fast and responsive and can generate a model in seconds. But I think a lot of them at the minute are minutes at best. And I don't know what if you've played with them or if that's been your experience.
no.
But
This is just an idea top of my head. So
yeah, no, definitely. The moment we can do that, it's going to be something I think we'll prioritize to do if it's viable, right? If it actually makes
yeah,
sense. Kind of like the AI gallery that we've got. If it can be as simple as that, you just press a button, you say a thing, and then it brings that thing in front of you, and then maybe you can use that to build out a space and save that, so you can come back to it later.
yeah.
That's a pretty powerful tool right there for sure.
Thank you, Shane.
Cheers. Uh, yeah, so I know some people are excited about the new update that we've got coming. I can reconfirm, as I did last week, that the provisional date for launch right now is the 25th. I realize that's a Friday, and ideally we'd like to go a day or two, I'd say, before that, right? But right now, that's the date that we're working towards. We are still, in some regards, working towards the 15th, at least in some threads, let's say. But yeah, we're just trying to get as much as possible done as quickly as possible. I was just in another event, just chatting with some people, and we were talking about the actual lineup of features that are going to come in this new update. Like, there's really not going to be a whole lot of the old game left. I think the SDK really is the biggest chunk of something that's going to remain, right, from the old to the new. But almost everything else has been rewritten from the ground up to be honestly a whole lot better. I don't know if anybody's noticed, maybe you have, but I posted a video in the Space Makers channel. There's a few different things going on in that video that I'm thinking some of you might find interesting. But I think one of the main things is that I've spent the last few days uh, crunching it on network synced objects, right? Trying to get those to work uh, quite a bit better than they do currently. And that video is primarily about that. Myself and Aline jumped in earlier. Honestly, I didn't expect the test to go as well as it did, but we were in there for what, maybe about 45 minutes, Aline, or longer if you include the extra time we spent in the ISS afterwards. What do you think? You muted? Let's say it was 45 minutes. And honestly, it was just a lot of fun. You know, it's you spend a lot of time building these things, and often you spend so much time building it that you don't get much time to enjoy it. Or even when you do enjoy it, you've kind of seen how the sausage is made, so it's less impressive. But we got lost in it earlier, and we had full physics-based synced, network synced objects. We could run around with different things in our hands. We could interact with each other. We could grab things. We could throw things to each other. We could use two objects in our hands to pick an object up and then pass it to another person who takes it in their two objects in their hand and then interacts with it. Definitely watch that video. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. I think it's still a prototype and there's definitely some polish still to go on, but I was surprised at how well it worked. We just hung out and it felt fairly flawless. I don't think there was one problem with it. I don't think one object was out of place. So it's the sort of thing that most people, I guess, they don't really know about it or need to know about it, right? It's one of those systems that kind of goes on in the background, and as long as it just works, everything is okay. But the truth is, I'm sure at some point you've all come across situations where there's an object, you can pick it up, you can move it around like that box, but nobody else will see it. And this new system, which is actually it's designed to be a backwards compatible system. It started out anyway that way as a means to make sure that the existing network synced objects will continue to work and hopefully improve on their uh, yeah, stability, let's say. But honestly, we had so much fun with it earlier that I think at the minimum, it's certainly going to be a blueprint for a larger, more scalable system. But already, it seems to be working really well. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on it too. The video is recorded from both people's perspectives, and there is a little bit of overlap. You'll see there's some repetition at parts of it, so you can watch it through and see what it looks like from one's perspective, and then the same sequence of events from the other person's perspective. So you can really dig in and see how it's working. And yeah, there's a couple of things to tweak, but there's all sorts of seamless ownership switching of objects going on behind the scenes when you touch it or grab it or anything like that. And yeah, we figured out how to fly, right? The new system, just like the current system, it's physics and you can fuck with it and you can figure out how to fly. And you know, it's like almost anything you do with this new system that we've built, it just feels so much smoother. Like everything, you're moving around on the ground. You've got that shock absorber, and all the bumps are just smoothed out. It just feels like you're floating on air. And then, yeah, I mean, it's the same with any kind of interactions and stuff that you're doing as well. And it seems like a lot of that then translates across into the networking, at least anyway, right? You can tell if an object is being updated by your local physics or not. But yeah, it's definitely something I think we've needed to have for a while, something we've been promising for a while is to fix up those network synced objects. And for anybody who's used them, I think they'll appreciate how temperamental they can be. The new system should just work, right? It's eliminated a lot of the really problematic parts about how the old system worked. There was a lot of cloning and creating, instantiating, and all that kind of stuff going on in the old system. The new system is simple. You just throw the script on, that object stays. It's just the one object. It doesn't get copied or cloned, and it's just network synced. It is as simple as that. And Yeah, tell me what you think of it. Look at the video. There's lots of really cool stuff in there. In fact, it was the first time we got to really interact with all of the proper interactables, the new interactables using the new grab system that's able to, you know, you'll see it right in the video when I pick up a gun. The gun goes to the right position in my hand instantly, right? Without me having to do the whole move it around and stuff like that. And I'm excited about that, especially because I'm waiting to finish out the new paintball game to have that feature, right? So that you don't have to grab your gun and try and quickly reorient it and get shot by somebody while you're doing it. I'm hoping this new one will just mean, you can grab it and it just goes to the right position. You can shoot right away. It'll be a much more fun experience. But there's a bunch of other things about it, right? You have cylindrical grabs. I guess the best example I can think of there is a golf club, right? You're holding a thin cylindrical object, so your hands will automatically, you know, orient around the object. You might have a certain grabbable area on the cylinder that you'll be able to kind of move your hands, and it'll do all of that. And yeah, I guess the other one, while I'm here, I may as well mention is the spherical one, right? So you can just grab an object and your hand will stay open as if you've got like a big ball, let's say, in your hand. And Yeah, all of these things are kind of just to prevent your hand from going inside the object too much, to make it sort of rest on the outside of the object in a natural way, or to look as natural as possible. But Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It was the first time we got to actually play with those new objects using the new character controller, especially with all of it synced at the time. And we had a lot of fun. I hope you can see it in the video, and definitely tell us what you think. But I've been waffling for a while. Does anybody want to put me out of my misery and make their way up? Thank you, Iron Wolf. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, so I was talking to Ghost Roy the other day, and he said that Banter took up 60 gigabytes of data on the headset,
Wow. Yeah.
and he just uninstalled it and reinstalled it. And then we checked it out, and we went world hopping, and we noticed that the storage for Banter increased all the time every time we went to a new world.
Yes.
So
That's right.
is there going to be a purge cache button in the new menu?
Yeah, absolutely. There's one in the current menu. In fact, you don't need to uninstall at all. You go into settings, there's the clear cache and rejoin. That cache is clearing all the worlds.
Ah, okay. So he never done that, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
We have
that
to
should work.
test it
That should
out a little
clear the
bit more.
cache of worlds and clear the cache of avatars, right? And those are the two major items that can increase in size. I guess it depends. Maybe if you're doing a lot of avatar recordings or a lot of, I mean, even those, right? I don't think they can ever really get that big. Yeah, it would mostly be worlds and avatars. A world
Yeah, we'll
could be 100
test it
megs
out next
usually.
time.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely what you would need to do. Typically, there's no real maximum on that sort of cache size. It just keeps it there, really, until you clear, right? Or on occasion, what will happen is a world will the cache will expire, but the cache will probably actually still stay there in that case. It will just mean that the next time you go in, it will download a new version again. But Yeah, if you're a regular user and you go world hopping a lot, you're definitely going to fill up your storage. But you can clear it at any time here hitting that clear cache and rejoin button. And yeah,
Okay.
that's
Thank
definitely
you,
going to be
Shane.
in the new menu too. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Yeah. Um, let's see. What else can I talk about? What else have we been doing this week? You want to tell people about your visual scripting stuff, Aline, or are you gonna leave us hanging again? Oh no,
Mhm.
leave us hanging. That's fair. I like it. Oh, that's a nice bird on your shoulder there, Divine. How are you doing? How are you holding up
I just
after
want to
the
say I missed
horrible
y'all
weather?
so much for those like 4 days that I was gone. I missed
Yeah.
y'all so much.
We miss
Did
you
Say
you
that
make
as
it through it
well.
much.
okay? Mm,
Yeah. It was just loss of power and then internet as well because, like, I noticed that whenever the power was restored, like 2 days ago, the internet was not restored with it, so we were still 2 days without internet as well. So it was just like really crazy. My
yeah.
son took it hard. With him, I think it's the autism. He didn't understand, so it was a little bit harder for him, and then therefore being hard on him, being hard on me because he didn't understand. So I mean, but yeah. Besides that, it was okay. But I missed y'all like crazy.
Well, we missed you too. I'm glad you're on the other
Yeah,
side of it, and I'm glad everyone's okay.
yeah, yeah. Me too. There was just a lot of trees being brought down with the poles and stuff. That's it, really.
Yeah,
It none fell on no houses here around here, anyways. So thank goodness. But
that's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I saw some crazy footage of
But
like
yeah, I just
tornadoes and
wanted to
stuff.
come up here and tell you how much I missed y'all,
Nice.
and I'm so
This
happy to be
is.
back. And when I got on here, there was no one here. It was like ghost town. I was like, "What's going on?"
Oh no.
I don't know what was happening. Like if there was an event somewhere else, or I don't know what was going on. But yeah, it was crazy. But
Yeah, I mean,
anyways,
there's been a lot of people who haven't been able to make it online over the last week, right? I guess maybe some people might still be stuck in that regard. But I think we've
yeah.
also seen people. The summer has stopped, right? So we've seen people go back to school, go back to study, go back to work, all of that kind of stuff.
It
The
didn't count.
weekend is actually usually a lot more active now. A lot of people are hitting up at the weekend. The Yeah, but
Oh yeah, because of
we're
school going back and stuff like that. Yeah, I understand that.
exactly, yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. But
and
I mean,
there
it's great
are
to
a
hear.
lot of Floridians that are in here as well that
Yeah,
I've been keeping in contact with. So there's a few of them that that are really okay, and Mika's okay. I've gotten in contact with him and stuff. He's fine. So yeah, he'll be
yeah,
back this week coming up. Yeah.
yeah. It's good that the worst of it is over, right? And it's kind of
Yeah.
done. But yeah, I don't know. There's obviously going to be a lot of people who've you know been affected by it pretty badly. But
Oh yeah, there was like
yeah,
I think anyone who had Spectrum, which is like internet and cable and stuff like that, so,
hmm,
program or whatnot. Anyone that
yeah,
had that was without their service for like ever, for like 4 days, 4 or 5 days, and there
yeah,
probably are still people that don't have it right now. I know there's people that don't have power right now still, so it's like millions of people's stuff went out over
yeah,
the whole state of Florida, just about, or the middle part of Florida. Yep.
yeah. I saw the map.
Anyways,
I
I'm
saw the
waffling with
picture.
you. You're
Nice.
bringing me into your waffling.
Oh boy, here we go. Well, waffle away. We're all
We're
about it.
waffling.
Yeah, we love waffle.
The storm is gone. Like let's just forget about that Milton thing.
Yeah. What kind of name is Milton anyway?
I know,
Big
right?
nerd
English.
storm.
Milton.
Nerd. English.
Yeah. Oh god. Let's see. I'll peek on
Oh
Big John for a
goodness.
minute. What's going on, Big John?
None much.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
What are you up to up there in your little red window? Huh?
My little red window. Oh, you've been told what
Yeah.
happens when I go like this. Get the hands in the face. Did Helen tell
Oh.
you my secret?
Oh.
Where's
Oh.
that?
Over
Helen's
here,
got a
I'm
little.
playing Sudoku. Still
Oh,
paying
Sudoku.
attention,
Oh,
but
yeah. Oh, I see it.
Oh. Well, you better be, because there's going to be an exam at the end.
oh God, no.
Oh God. Yeah. Who's that up there swinging around like crazy? I keep catching them in the corner of my eye.
It's me.
Who is that?
Ah, nice. Yeah. The new Spider-Man is so much more fun. There's going to be new ropes, right? So your colors are going to be applied to whole new ropes. The ones we're looking at right now are actually mesh. It's actually a cylinder, right? So it actually has shape to it. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's nice. You've got a bit of shading there as you kind of go around it, at least anyway, even with a diffuse shader. But yeah, go ahead, Mr. E. What can I do for?
Hello. So when the new system comes online, is there going to be a bit of downtime while you're switching things over to the new service? I don't know. And two-part question: have you considered doing a beta enrollment through like the Oculus store?
Yeah, that's a good question. On the first one, no, we don't expect there to be any downtime. I was joking earlier that we might turn the lights off for 5 minutes and you'll have to use the torches on your phones, but that's not going to be the
Okay.
case. No, we should actually have most of the infrastructure rolled out before the actual game itself launches. We're like most things we do here, we're sort of building it to be backwards compatible with the existing system, so everything is able to overlap and exist concurrently. And yeah, I mean, on the beta front, I mean, we're here. We're all beta testing, right? That's what we've all been doing to date. I think in this case, you might find that if we can pull it off, we might try and release it a few days early before we really put the pedal to the metal on promotion and marketing and all of that jazz. So you might actually get access to it a few days early, right? But no promises. At this point, it's still a very long list of things that need to get done, and it's working around the clock right now to get everything ready. But yeah, it's such a long list. It's such a long list. It's actually an entirely different game at this point, right? Everything you love about what we've got right now, you can kiss it goodbye because the new one is just gonna scrap it all, like everything. I was thinking about it earlier. We were talking about it. There's a whole new menu. There's a whole new character controller. There's the other half of the avatar system. We've only got half of it rolled out right now. The other half is coming, right? Then there's a whole new networking system. There's a whole new body tracking system. There's a whole new network synced object system. There's a whole new toast message system. There's a whole new pointer system. There's everything, absolutely everything has been revamped. And a lot of things, they're all just coming together at the same time. And we're really pushing internally. Everybody is kind of working really hard to try and get them all right there and get them ready at the same time. Uh, but things like body tracking and finger tracking and available to the masses, right? So many people have quests. You're going to be able to use those to do this kind of stuff, and you're going to have a path to upgrade, right? If you want, you can go for something like slime trackers, or I'm sure we can also include Macopi, or there's possibly some others out there that work similarly. You'll be able to use those. You'll be able to use them on your quest. You won't need a PC to be able to run them. Uh, a lot of things are kind of culminating at the same time, not even just here within Banter or within SideQuest, but externally in the industry too, around uh, what I kind of feel like is us moving into the next step of immersion, right? Where we kind of get over that threshold of kind of herd adoption, let's say, and all of us are, in full body, and we can be in VR and have a conversation without even needing to speak because we've got the benefit of being able to see each other's body language, right? That's that's definitely a new level of immersion, a new level of presence, right? And in an app like this, where social is a pretty important thing, that sort of thing, it really, sends, waves out basically, right? And it's not just the people who have that technology and who use that technology that get to enjoy that immersion. It's actually everybody else, right? I could have a body tracking system. You could see how I'm moving, but I don't see how I'm moving that often. I just know that other people can see me, and that makes it easier for me to just communicate, organically, through gesturing or through leaning or through doing various different things. And yeah, it's just going to be par for the course, right? I don't know if anybody here has a Valve Index, for instance, or is using Knuckles controllers on Steam. But all of that's going to be supported. You'll be able to do full skeletal finger tracking on your index controllers. We've already been testing that internally. Uh, yeah, it's just going to support pretty much everything right out of the box, which is great. Uh, it sounds like we've done a lot of work, but the truth is, there's something called OpenXR, which we've really leaned into, which has taken a lot of the heavy lifting off some of these things. So makes it possible for us to have a broad range of support of devices without having to, without having to break the bank, let's say, in terms of the time it takes to actually build all that stuff. So it's the future, and we're going to get to benefit, and you guys are going to get to benefit. And yeah, really, it should put us in a really good position for how we evolve into the future, right? Because we'll be starting out on a much more open platform, so it'll be easier for us to upgrade, right? And it'll be, yeah, we'll have a better path forward, to be able to add new features in the future. So yeah, honestly, I'm super excited. Maybe I sound a little bit uh, less excited, but it's I'm just so tired, right, from all the work that we've been doing lately. But I'm so excited that there's no way that's going to stop me, because we are only a number of weeks away now from being able to deliver what I think is going to be a world's first in a lot of different ways. So yeah, I'm super pumped about being able to elevate things right beyond where they've been to date even. But anyway, that brings us pretty much up to the half hour, but maybe I'll put it out to the room. If anybody does have one final question, I'll be happy to answer before I jump out. uh, and if not, I'll just leave you with all of that noise and one. Oh, go ahead, Hubbard, what can I do you for?
The Viso app. Have you ever heard of that?
Viso? No, I've never heard of that.
It's an app that uses the phone camera to do full body tracking. And it
Gotcha.
sends that data over Wi-Fi to the Quest. And then yeah, it works. It works for VR chat. So maybe
Yes.
that's something you can look into someday to make it work with Banter.
There's a good chance that it might work
It will
with
work.
Banter out of the box. And
Yeah,
the reason I
it's
say that,
OSC. Yeah.
yes, well, that's what we're going to be supporting as OSC. That's how the Slime trackers connect in. I think that's also how the Macopi trackers connect in. They all just have native support for VR chat's OSC interface. Well, what we're going to just do is we're just going to copy their interface, right? And then that means that all of that shit is just going to be supported in here too. Because why wouldn't you, right? That's what all of these different tracker manufacturers have done too. Slime has support for VR chat through their their list of OSC endpoints, basically. So we'll do the same.
So it's a free app for Android
Yeah.
and iOS. So maybe everybody in here can have full body tracking for free.
There's going to be so many ways, right? So there's that. Then there's Quest itself has got hip tracking and body estimation. There's something there, and that might get better with time as well. Then on Steam, right? You've got a lot of things that can connect into Steam and can emulate trackers in Steam, like Driver for VR. You can pull out your old Kinect and plug that in, have full body tracking. That works with the new system. We've already tested that. Something that we're still working on. There's a few quirks to work out, but Standable, if anybody's familiar with that, it does really, really cool body estimation so that you can kind of sit down and lie down and all of that kind of stuff. And it uses everything about your tracking to pull that off. And it emulates Steam trackers, right? Or if you're coming through virtual desktop, it'll have a similar thing. It'll emulate Steam trackers using the Quest body tracking system. And all of that will just work inside of Banter, thankfully, because, yeah, open protocols, right? Open Sound Control, OSC, or OpenXR. Those two things alone encompass a lot of support of different devices for us. And yeah, there's a good possibility that it might just work whenever we get it.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope so. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I definitely think so. Yeah, it'll be awesome to see people get excited about body tracking. And when you see people in body tracking, it is definitely surreal. And yeah, I don't know if anybody noticed, but I rewrote the avatar recording system from scratch about a week ago to support all this new fancy stuff that we've done. So now Banter is actually, we've been using it internally. We were using external tools to do mocap for the trailer, but in the end, Banter had better context of the world, had better physics based stuff, and we were able to record the mocap that was what was coming out of it was the same quality of the third party tools that we were using, right? So that's going to be just a feature that you guys will have. Anybody wants to do full body mocap in the future, right down to the finger tracking, that's going to be something that you'll be able to do with the new system as well out of the box. So yeah. Anyway, I think I will drop it there, and thank you so much for coming. I'll see a lot of you, I'm sure, tomorrow night at the AMA. And if not, I'll maybe see you next week at the next Space Makers. And yeah, thanks everybody for coming. And yeah, you've probably got a load of events on the lineup tonight: peer support, anxiety support, neuro chat, and of course, the great Banter Late Show later on as well. So anyway, thanks very much, guys. I will see you all very soon. I hope very soon, once this release is out, to be a lot more active myself on the platform. I appreciate I've missed a lot of you. So it'll be great to catch up and see what all of you have been doing and to get to enjoy all of this new cool stuff together. But yeah, the future is very bright right now. And I think if only you could hear the amount of laughter that was going on in that video we recorded in the Discord earlier, right? If you could literally hear how much we were just giddy with laughter. But yeah, anyway, I will see you all very soon. Thank you very much. I will talk to you later.
Bye.